That old washing machine sitting in your garage right now is not junk. It is hiding one of the most powerful, most expensive, and most underrated pieces of machinery you will ever own for free. Somewhere inside that dusty metal shell is a motor strong enough to grind metal, cut wood, generate electricity, or even power a small workshop tool that would normally cost you hundreds of dollars. Most people drag that broken washing machine to the scrapyard and sell it for pennies, never realizing they are throwing away a treasure. Today, we are going to change the way you look at that old appliance forever, because by the end of this video, you will understand exactly how to turn a dead washing machine into a powerful working machine that can genuinely save you money and solve real problems around your home or workshop. Before we go further, if you enjoy learning how everyday broken items can be turned into powerful tools, hit that subscribe button right now, because this channel is all about practical, boring, real-world knowledge that actually helps you save money and build things with your own hands. Now let's get into it. Washing machine motors are not like the cheap little motors you find in toys or small kitchen appliances. These are heavy-duty, industrial-grade motors that were built to spin a large drum full of wet clothes, water, and detergent for years without failing. Think about what that motor has to do every single day inside a working washing machine. It has to start and stop constantly. It has to spin at low speed for washing and then suddenly jump to extremely high speed for spinning water out of clothes. It has to handle weight, resistance, and vibration without burning out. That is exactly why manufacturers use strong copper windings and solid construction inside these motors. When the washing machine itself breaks down, it is almost never because of the motor. Usually it is the water pump, a broken belt, a faulty control board, or a cracked drum. The motor, in most cases, is still sitting there completely fine, just waiting to be reused. This is the part most people never think about. A brand new motor with the same power output as a washing machine motor can cost anywhere from $50 to $150, sometimes more depending on the type and power rating. And yet, this same level of power is sitting unused in almost every household that has ever owned a washing machine. Multiply that by millions of households across the world, and you start to realize just how much usable power is being thrown away every single day without anyone noticing. So what exactly can you build with this motor? This is where things get interesting. Depending on the type of motor your washing machine has, you can build several different powerful machines. If your washing machine has a simple induction motor, which is common in older top-load washing machines, you can turn it into a heavy-duty bench grinder, a powerful drill press, a wood lathe, or even a small hammer mill for crushing grains or other materials. If your washing machine has a universal motor, which is common in front-load machines, you get even more power and higher speed, which makes it perfect for cutting tools, polishing machines, or even a small wood chipper for garden waste. But here's the part that surprises most people the most. Some washing machine motors, especially the newer BLDC or brushless direct current motors found in modern front load machines, can actually be converted into a small electricity generator. Yes, you heard that right. With the right setup, that same motor can spin and produce electricity, which means it can be connected to a small wind turbine setup or a hand-cranked or pedal-powered generator system. This is not science fiction. This is something hobbyists and repair enthusiasts around the world are already doing quietly in their garages without ever posting about it publicly, which is exactly why most people have no idea this is even possible. Now, before you get too excited and start pulling apart your washing machine with a screwdriver, there's something important you need to understand. Not every washing machine motor is the same, and using the wrong method to identify or extract your motor can actually damage it or make it far less useful for your project. The type of motor you have completely changes what machine you should build with it. This is where most tutorials online fail you, because they show one type of motor and assume every washing machine has the exact same setup. That is simply not true, and that mistake is why so many people give up on this project halfway through, thinking it is too complicated or not worth the effort. The truth is, once you understand the type of motor sitting inside your machine, the entire process becomes incredibly simple, and the results are far more powerful than most people expect. We are talking about a machine that can genuinely replace tools you would otherwise have to buy brand new. We are talking about real, practical value sitting inside something you are probably going to throw away this month. In the next part of this video, we are going to walk through exactly how to identify what type of motor is inside your washing machine, how to safely remove it without damaging the wiring or windings, and most importantly, how to wire it correctly so it runs safely and powerfully for your new project. This is the part where things get hands-on, and where you will finally understand why so many workshop owners specifically search junkyards for old washing machines just to get their hands on this one single part. Stick around, because what comes next is going to completely change how you look at every broken appliance sitting in your garage, basement, or backyard. Let's start with the most important step, and that is figuring out exactly what kind of motor is hiding inside your washing machine. This single step decides everything else about your project, so do not rush through it. If your washing machine is an older top-load model, especially one that is 10 or more years old, there's a very high chance It uses a simple single-phase induction motor. These motors are easy to recognize because they are usually round, heavy, made of solid metal, and they have two sets of wires coming out, one for the main winding and one for the starting winding, sometimes with a small capacitor attached nearby. This capacitor is important, so do not throw it away, because you will likely need it later to get your motor running smoothly outside of the washing machine. If your washing machine is a front-load model, especially a newer one, the motor will look completely different. Instead of a round, bulky motor, you will often find a flat, wide motor directly connected to the drum through a belt, or sometimes directly mounted onto the drum shaft itself. This is usually a universal motor or a BLDC motor, and these are actually more valuable for advanced projects because they can reach much higher speeds, and in some cases, can be used for generating electricity, as we talked about earlier. The wiring on these motors is a little more complex, often with multiple wires, and sometimes a small control board attached. But do not let that intimidate you, because once you understand the basic wiring pattern, it becomes very manageable, even for someone with no electrical background. Now let's talk about actually removing the motor safely, because this is where many people accidentally damage a perfectly good motor without even realizing it. The first and most important rule is to completely disconnect the washing machine from any power source before you touch anything inside. This sounds obvious, but you would be surprised how many people skip this step simply because the machine is already broken and they assume it is safe. Never assume that. Old capacitors inside these machines can still hold the electrical charge, even after the machine has been unplugged for days. So always treat the internal wiring with respect and caution. Once the machine is safely disconnected, you will need a basic set of tools, nothing fancy, just a set of screwdrivers, a wrench set, and if possible, a pair of pliers for handling wires. Start by removing the outer panel of the washing machine, which is usually held on by a few screws on the back or sides. Once you get inside, you will see the drum, the belt system if there is one, and the motor itself mounted somewhere near the bottom or side of the machine. Take a picture of the wiring before you disconnect anything. This one small step will save you an enormous amount of confusion later when you're trying to remember which wire went where. Carefully disconnect the wires from the motor, keeping note of the color coding if there is any, then remove the mounting bolts holding the motor in place. Most washing machine motors are surprisingly heavy for their size, so be prepared for that when you lift it out. Once it is removed, take a moment to actually inspect the motor closely. Check if the shaft spins freely by hand. If it spins smoothly without grinding noise or resistance, that is a very good sign that the motor itself is healthy and ready to be reused for your next project. Now comes the part that most people find the most exciting, and that is actually wiring the motor to run on its own, completely separate from the washing machine's original control system. If you have an induction motor with a capacitor, the wiring is relatively simple. You connect the main winding and the starting winding together with the capacitor in between, and then connect this setup directly to a standard power source through a switch. Many hobbyists build a small wooden or metal base, mount the motor securely onto it, add a power switch, and just like that, they have a standalone powerful motor ready to be connected to a grinding wheel, a drill chuck, or any other attachment they choose. If you are working with a universal motor from a front-load washing machine, the process is a little different because these motors often run on both AC and DC power, and they usually spin much faster than induction motors. This makes them perfect for high-speed tools like cutting wheels, buffing wheels, or small wood-cutting discs. However, because of their higher speed, you need to be extra careful with balance and mounting, because an unbalanced high-speed motor can become dangerous very quickly. Always mount these motors on a solid, heavy base, and never run them at full speed without a proper enclosure or safety guard around any spinning attachment. For those who found a BLDC motor inside a modern front-load washing machine, this is where things become genuinely exciting for people interested in renewable energy or small-scale power generation. These motors are essentially designed to convert rotational movement into electrical energy just as easily as they convert electrical energy into movement. With the right circuit setup, which usually involves a rectifier and a small charge controller, you can connect this motor to a hand crank system, a bicycle pedal system, or even a small wind turbine blade setup, and it will begin producing usable electricity. This is exactly the kind of project that shows up in small-scale survival setups, off-grid cabins, and emergency backup power systems, because it gives you a way to generate real electricity using a part that most people would have thrown away without a second thought. What makes this entire process so satisfying is not just the money you save, although that is a huge part of it, but the feeling of taking something that was considered broken and useless and turning it into something genuinely powerful and functional. This is not a flashy internet trick that looks impressive for 30 seconds and then gets forgotten. This is real, practical engineering knowledge that has been used by repair shops, workshop owners, and hobbyists for decades, quietly, without much attention, simply because it works. As we move into the final part of this video, we are going to look at some real-world machine builds that people have created using exactly this kind of recycled washing machine motor including powerful bench grinders, small wood lathes, and even backup power generators. We will also talk about the safety precautions you absolutely must follow before running any of these builds, because power like this deserves respect. What you are about to see next might completely change the way you look at every broken appliance you come across for the rest of your life. Now let's talk about what people are actually building with these recycled washing machine motors, because once you see the real-world examples, you will understand why this simple piece of scrap metal has become so valuable to workshop owners and hobbyists everywhere. One of the most common builds is a heavy-duty bench grinder. Instead of buying a brand new grinder motor, people mount their washing machine motor onto a sturdy wooden or metal base, attach a grinding wheel on one end and a wire brush wheel on the other. And just like that, they have a two-sided grinding station that can sharpen tools, remove rust, and polish metal, all for the cost of a few small parts instead of buying an entire new machine. This single build alone can save someone well over $100 compared to buying a similar grinder from a hardware store. Another popular build is a small wood lathe. Because induction motors run at a steady, controllable speed, they are perfect for turning wood into bowls, handles, or decorative pieces. Hobbyist woodworkers who cannot afford expensive lathe equipment have used these recycled motors to build fully functional lathes in their garages, and many of them will tell you the results are just as good as store-bought machines costing several times more. The satisfaction of shaping a piece of wood using a motor that was headed for the scrapyard is something that simply cannot be replaced by buying a machine off a shelf. For those working with universal motors from front-load washing machines, high-speed cutting tools have become a favorite project. People have built compact metal cutting stations, small wood chippers for garden waste, and even polishing machines for cars and motorcycles. The higher speed of these motors makes them ideal for jobs that need fast, precise cutting or smoothing. And because the motor was already built to handle constant stress inside a washing machine, it holds up remarkably well under this new kind of workload. But perhaps the most impressive builds come from the BLDC motors pulled out of modern front-load machines. Off-grid living enthusiasts and emergency preparedness communities have used these motors to build small-scale backup power systems. By connecting the motor to a pedal-powered generator setup, some families have created an emergency system that lets them charge phones, power small lights, or run essential devices during power outages, all without spending money on an expensive generator. Others have connected these motors to small wind turbine blades mounted on rooftops or in backyards, creating a simple renewable energy source using nothing more than a motor that would have otherwise been thrown into a landfill. What ties all of these projects together is one simple truth. The motor sitting inside your old washing machine is not garbage. It is a piece of engineering that took real skill and real materials to build, and throwing it away without a second thought is one of the most overlooked wastes happening in households all around the world. Every single day, thousands of these motors end up in scrap yards, melted down for a tiny fraction of their real value, when they could instead be powering tools, workshops, and even small emergency power systems for families who need them. This is exactly the kind of hidden value that this channel is built around. Boring Economic Update exists to show you that the world is full of overlooked opportunities, sitting quietly in places most people never bother to look. A broken washing machine is not the end of its usefulness. It is simply the beginning of a new purpose, if you know where to look and how to use what is already there. The next time you see an old washing machine sitting on the curb, in a scrapyard, or even in your own garage, you will not see junk anymore. You will see a powerful motor, sitting there quietly, waiting for someone smart enough to give it a second life. Before you go, I want you to think about something. How many other items sitting around your home right now might be hiding this same kind of overlooked value? An old ceiling fan, a broken treadmill, an out-of-use printer. These are not just broken items taking up space. They are potential tools, potential parts, and potential savings if you take the time to look a little closer instead of throwing them away without a second thought. That is the entire mindset behind this channel, and it is exactly why understanding these small, practical pieces of knowledge can make such a real difference in your everyday life. If this video opened your eyes to something you never thought about before, I want to hear about it. Drop a comment right now and tell me what old broken item you have sitting around your home that you never realized might still have value inside it. I read every single comment, and some of the best video ideas on this channel have come directly from viewers sharing exactly this kind of experience. Your comment could genuinely become the topic of a future video, so do not hesitate to share what is on your mind. And if you found real value in this video, do not keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend, a family member, or anyone you know who has an old broken washing machine sitting around collecting dust. You might be the reason someone saves $100 on a new tool, or the reason someone finally builds that workshop project they have been putting off for years. Sharing this video costs you nothing, but it could genuinely help someone else see value in something they were about to throw away. Make sure you are subscribed, because this channel is going to keep bringing you this exact kind of practical, real-world knowledge, the kind that saves you money, teaches you something new, and changes the way you look at the everyday items around you. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I will see you in the next video, where we uncover another hidden opportunity that has been sitting right in front of you the entire time.